morning children, welcome to online class. I am Mrs. Ananthi, your social science teacher. Today we are going to discuss about colonialization of Africa. First we are going to see colonialization in South Africa, Boer War, war with Zulu tribe, Rhodesia, West Africa, East Africa, Portuguese Angola, African rule in Liberia and Ethiopia. First, the colonialization of Africa. Until the last quarter of 19th century, Africa south of Sahara was almost unknown to the outside world. The interior of Africa was unexplored. After 1875, European penetration and colonialization began on a large scale. The Berlin Colonial Conference of 1884-85 resolved to divide Africa into spheres of influence of the various European powers. European colonialization of Africa was thus accomplished smoothly without any outbreak of war amongst major European powers. The invasion, occupation, colonialization and annexation of African territories by European powers between 1881 and 1914, the era of imperialism, is called the Scramble for Africa or Partition of Africa. The Berlin Conference of 1884-85, also known as Congo Conference or West Africa Conference, met to decide all issues connected with the Congo River Basin in Central Africa. The conference, proposed by Portugal to discuss its claim to control Congo River Basin, was rejected. The General Act of Conference of Berlin declared the Congo River Basin to be neutral and guaranteed freedom for trade and shipping for all the states in the basin. Next one is South Africa. In South Africa, the British possessed Natal, Cape Colony, while the Dutch people is locally known as Boers. The Dutch possessed the states of Transvaal and Orange Free State. In 1886, the discovery of gold in the Transvaal led to a large number of British miners settling in around Johannesburg. The Boers feared and hated the miners, whom they called Uitlanders, that means foreigners. In 1890, Cecil Rhodes, the Prime Minister of Cape Colony, encouraged British expansion to the north of the Transvaal. This worsened the relation between the Boers and the British. Denied of their political rights, the British miners revolted. This led to the Boer War, which lasted 3 years, from 1899 to 1902. In the end of Boer army was defeated and Pretoria was occupied. The British annexed the two Boer states but promised self-government in due course. Boer states were given full responsible government in 1907. After discussion over the years, the four states finally decided to form a union and South Africa was created as a state in 1909. The war with Zulu tribe or Anglo-Zulu War. The Zulu tribe was known for its strong fighting spirit, represented by renowned warriors like Shaka Zulu, who played a prominent role in the building the largest Zulu nation in southeastern Africa. British troops invaded Zulu territory and divided it into 13 chiefdoms. The Zulus never regained their independence and had to fight against deeply entrenched racism in South Africa for about a century. Rhodesia in Africa. The British South African Company, founded in 1899, conducted an expedition with 600 men. Each of them were promised a 3,000-acre farm. The African king was tricked into believing that all that the Europeans wanted was gold. But they had come with a definite plan of colonizing the Bechuna land. During the next 10 years, African opposition was crushed. White immigrants were provided with farmland and railways, and a telegraph system developed. The colony came to be called Rhodesia after Cecil Rhodes. Next, the West Africa under Europeans. The coastal states of Gold Coast became a British colony in 1854. Nigeria was used for slave trading posts on the coast. In 1886, the Royal Niger Company was formed, which was taken over by the British government in 1900. French West. Senegal had been a French base in West Africa. Her later possession of Guinea, Ivory Coast, Dahomey were linked up with the whole area of south of Sahara. Next, Congo in West Africa. Leopold II, King of Belgium, showed interest in Congo, and so the Berlin Conference agreed to rule of Leopold in Congo Free State. This state was given a monopoly of the trade in ivory and rubber, the two most valuable products of the Congo. These products were collected with harshness. Africans were subjected to forced labor. Each village was given a quota, and if quotas were not fulfilled, they were flogged and mutilated. The public outcry over the economic exploitation of Africans persuaded the Belgian government to intervene. Leopold was forced to relinquish his sovereign right, and in 1908, sovereignty over the Congo passed from Leopold to Belgian government. Next, East Africa. In 1886, the possession of the Sultan of Zanzibar were divided into British and the German spheres of influence. For the first few years, the British area was administered by the British East India Company, but in 1895, the British government assumed authority and formed the East African Protectorate, which included Kenya, Uganda, and Zanzibar. A large part of Uganda was made up of Buganda, a kingdom ruled by Kabaka. Next, the Germans in East Africa. The Germans established their rule in what became German East Africa. Like King Leopold in Congo, the Africans here were economically exploited, leading to a number of rebellions. The most serious was the Maji rebellion from the year 1905 to 1907. Portuguese, Angola and Mozambique. The Portuguese had used These two colonies on the west and east coast of southern Africa, along with Portuguese Guinea since 16th century. Next, the African rule in Libya and Ethiopia. Only two countries managed to evade European colonialism, Libya and Ethiopia. Libya was formed in the early 19th century as a home for African blacks repatriated from America. Ethiopia, with its traditional polity, was ruled by Emperor Menelik. So likewise, African continent was dominated by Europeans. They made their colonies in Africa and they exploited the countries. That's all for today's class.